G'day, I'm Brodie Brown, Millionaire Mortgage Secrets, and in this video I'm going to run through the differences between an offset and redraw. Simple question, get asked it all the time. Just for clarity, let's talk about how you refer to these things. Offset is an offset account. Redraw, people talk about having a redraw account or a redraw facility. Redraw facility, redraw account, not really the right terminology. So let me explain this to you. Offset account, the easiest way for you to understand what it is it's a separate account for all intents and purposes. It's a savings account with the same interest rate as your loan, that just happens to be tax-free. If you earn interest on savings, you're going to pay tax on it because you're earning interest. If you are saving interest by having money in an offset account, you aren't paying tax. It's tax-free. Redraw, it's not an account. All redraw does is it permits you to redraw money out of the loan. All right, this is term loans 101. When you take out a contract with a lender to borrow money, it's usually over a term, more often than not, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. You are contracted to make a minimum repayment each month, or each fortnight, or each week, whatever you agree to pay. And that's your part of the contract. And you've got to make those repayments every month for 25, 30 years, whatever the case may be. Put some handcuffs around you, right? So that's the agreement that you have. If you are a smart cookie and you have read my book, Millionaire Mortgage Secrets, and you're like, yeah, I don't want to be in debt for 30 years because that's fucking dumb, then you will make extra repayments. No magic in that. That's how you get out of debt faster. You spend less, you make extra repayments. So if you do that, what ends up happening is that the loan repayment schedule, you get ahead of it. So let's just say that at any given point in time that this is where the loan limit is, the loan balance is supposed to be, but you make extra repayments, that says extra, you make extra repayments into the loan, you get ahead, right? So that's the limit, but the balance is less than that, or you might be crazy aggressive and you might be there. So this is the loan remaining, so you get ahead. Now banks say, well, we're not going to penalise you for that. You've been a good boy, good girl, and you've just repaid a bit extra each month, and you've gotten ahead, and that's cool. We understand that might be your savings, which it is. It's equity, same thing. So this difference between what the balance is after you making extra payments and what the loan limit is, that is redrawable. You can take that money out of the loan and you can use it to buy things with. The thing is to get it out of the loan, because the loan account is a fully functional bank account, mostly, you can take that money out, you can redraw it, right? Really easy. Then you can go and use it. You can go on a holiday to Paris, or you can waste it on other shit. So that's what redraw is. I like to think of redraw as an action, redrawing money. Is that prepayment? The prepayment is what it is. It's a prepayment, because if you're paying ahead of schedule, it's a prepayment, right? Is that money, that extra prepayment, redrawable? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, so I hope you can understand that. It's pretty basic, right? So, an offset account, slightly different. Going in reverse here. This is your loan. This is a house, but that's going to be the loan. Then I like to draw a partition in between these things because there is a separation between that and your offset, right? Offset. Offset account is the savings account with the same interest rate as your home loan. How it works is that if you have a loan here of 800 grand, I've covered this in more detail in another video, but let's go through it again here because you're watching this one. So you've got an 800 grand loan over here, and you've got, say, $300,000 in an offset account, which I seldom see because people are just absurdly, abhorrently bad with their money. You've got 300 grand in the offset account. You've got a loan for 800,000. How much are you paying interest on? 8 minus 3, 500,000. So you're paying interest on 500,000. Now, a couple of little things that you need to understand. Different lenders operate their loans slightly differently, depending on the conversation that you might have with them and depending on what you want to do. Right? What I mean by that is using myself as an example. I have a bunch of money in my loan. I don't pay a lot of interest on the principal because it's mostly offset. I like that because I don't like having debt. Although I'm selling it, I'm also educating people on how to get out of debt, and that's how you're here because you downloaded my book initially, I'm sure, or I hope you have. If not, get a copy. So what happens is because you have 300 grand offsetting that $800,000, that means that the repayment doesn't change. So let's just say that your minimum monthly repayment is 3 grand, but that repayment was determined by that initial loan limit of 800,000, for example. But if you've got 300 grand in the offset account and your repayment remains the same, that means that the composition of the repayment changes. And what I mean by that is that, say, for example, I might be getting too deep here, but let's just get deep, and that's 11 to 20, and that's 21 to 30. This is years. Okay, so in years 1 to 10 of each repayment, that 3 grand, for example. I hope you're sitting down for this because this is shocking and it sucks, but this is why most people don't know where their fucking money goes. So in the first 10 years of the loan, roughly of that 3,000 repayment, guess how much is interest? Depending on the interest rate, it's something like 65 to 70% is interest. Yeah. Talk about spinning wheels. So that's why when people settle on a property and they bought a new home and they borrowed a shit ton of money and they're like, we are not repaying the loan. Yeah, the reason is because the interest is calculated on the largest loan balance before you begin to break the back of it up here, all right? So years 11 and 20, 11 through to 20 rather, look, this is rough maths, but it's about 50%, give or take. So 50% interest, 50% principal, and then these final years, of course, it goes down like this. But you're looking at sort of, for argument's sake, 25%. So 25% of your repayment is interest and 75% is principal. That's why when you look at the graph, which you should have looked at, that's time and this is your balance. The graph goes like that. All right, so, and what I mean by that is you've got interest, you've got principal over here, and that goes like that, okay? Because all of in these first few years, these 10 years here, you're paying an absolute shit ton of interest, and that's why you don't get ahead. So what you got to do is you got to break the back of the loan. So where I was going with that is that in these initial years, you want to build up your offset as much as you can. You want to do that anyway, but the repayment is calculated based on $800,000, and if you've got 300 grand in there, that means that the composition of the repayment in those first few years is more like what it should be and what it will be, you hope, if you don't keep on refinancing and extending the terms. The composition of the repayment is more like it is towards the end of the loan. So what does that mean? It means that you go from here, right? Your graph, your repayment graph looks like something like that. Okay, so the term of the loan shortens. Now that happens with redraw as well, but the difference between redraw and offset is that typically speaking, when you have made extra repayments, the amount of the repayment each month changes as you make extra repayments. So the more you have prepaid the loan, the lower the repayments go. Sometimes that suits people. That's important for you to understand, right? So if that's what you want to do, all things being equal, then just put your money straight into the loan. But I'm going to talk about a couple of other little bits and pieces which I think you need to know before you consider that. So let's talk about advantages. Now I've talked about what they do. Let's talk about the advantages of each. So an offset account, I reckon the main advantages to me is money management. I was going to give you the big thing first, which is why you should keep watching this, because I'm going to cover something off at the end, which is where people stuff it up. So money management. Money. When you've got an offset account, it's a fully functional savings account, operates like a current account, which they're all the same these days. So what I mean by that is you can have direct debits, you can pay bills, you can pay credit cards, you've got a Visa debit card or something similar, MasterCard, whatever it is, so you can take your savings and you can spend it with a card or your phone or whatever you want to do. So you've got flexibility and easy access to your money. It also creates an effective way for you to save. Very simple for you to put all your money in the offset account. The other thing that I like about it in terms of savings and being effective with your savings, because when you have debt, when you have a home loan, you don't want, which I see the smartest people do, they've got 80 grand sitting over, they've got a loan with, I don't know, Bank West, right? A loan with Bank West, and then they've got another loan with the owner of Bank West, CBA over here. They've got a current account, or a savings account rather, with 80 grand in it. And that's for Daniel's private school fees. But for some reason, psychologically, this person doesn't want to have that 80 grand in the offset account. I don't know why. So if you have cash savings, you might have wealthy parents, or you might have access to cash or something. When you've got a home loan, all of the cash in your possession should be either in the loan or in an offset account. The beauty of an offset account is you can have multiple. Some lenders will give you up to 10. And you can, if you're one of the envelopes people, which you should be, I am, you can have money for daily essentials, you can have money for travel, you can have money for the pets, you can have money for Daniel's private school fees, all in offset accounts and all separate and partitioned, and you don't need to have cards for each of them. So money management is, to me, one of the most important things that differentiate offset account to Redraw when offset account to using or prepaying the loan, right? Let's say that.